Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. And as promised at the end of our daily financial news, we have a super surprise guest, Mr. Cody Barton. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, doing good. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great, man. I love when I get a little bit of your time. It just really keeps me in tune with what's going on in the market because you have a deal flow and an activity and a reach that very few do. So thank you for giving us a little bit of time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to do it. I think going into the summer, things are changing. So I think it's important to talk about it.
Yeah. So what we're going to do here in the first video of 3 is we're going to talk about recommendations Cody and I have for this environment because it is changing. It might catch some of you by surprise. For some of you, it might be your first time. So we're going to have some recommendations. Video 2, we're going to talk very specifically about Phoenix because it is happening. It is slowing down. And then close with what are we both doing to change right now? Because we are pivoting. And if you don't pivot, you can get smashed. So Cody, let's play some ping pong. What are some recommendations around financial things that you have for folks? You're the guest. You go first.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to start with a book recommendation because, we could only say so much on, one live, right? And so a book that I would recommend everybody to read. It's not a Dave Ramsey book. It's T. Harv Ecker's book, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. Probably one of the best books on personal finance that I've read because it specifically talks about not just like what to do with your money, because if everyone was just told exactly what to do with their money, they would do it. It goes a little bit deeper into like your financial blueprint and how you think about money to then how you actually make decisions about money and, the type of personality you are around money. You have people that are hoarders of money. You have people that are, spenders. And then you have the people that kind of just like put their head in the sand and just pretend that none of it even exists and just live their life.
For sure. What was the name of the book one more time?
Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker.
I'm going to get that one. I don't know that I've had that.
It's so good. It's so good.
Very cool. Well, one of the things that I would recommend people is really, it's the same concept from 2 different angles. One is this, Greg Dickerson, who's my Monday guest, says good times never last, bad times never last. We're exiting a good time, entering a bad time. Yeah. It's going to happen whether you acknowledge it or not, kind of like you said, putting your head in the sand. So first off, it's coming. Don't, prepare and thrive. Because again, the best time to really create wealth is buying assets on sale. And that's most often done in a recession or a bear market. The other thing I want you to realize, and again, this is very much social media and YouTube University, is there are some people just preaching fear. That doesn't help anyone. No, I like talking about what's happening, what's going on. I like talking about sellers having FOMO and in the real estate game that I look at every day for 22 years is changing, but I'm excited. I actually take every negative article and I turn it just instantly in my head. Good. There goes 2% of my competition. And the last time this happened was a 4-year journey. So, yeah, it's only going to get better from here is what I tell myself, because sellers have FOMO. Sellers get scared. They no longer can name their price. So I'm looking forward to what's coming. So again, don't stick your head in the ground because it's going to happen. And then finally, look at it as a positive, not a negative. So that's kind of my first one. What do you got next?
Yeah. So, when it comes to it as well, like you said, it's like people are preaching fear so much, and really it doesn't have to be something that's super scary. Like, yes, it's going to be some uneasy times, but I think it's about getting prepared for it. Right. And I think that's where people have to really start thinking ahead. And I think that you've done a great job sharing with your audience that, hey, like times are going to be changing. And I noticed that where, changes I'm making personally. I am one of those, my money personality is kind of hoarder in a sense of like, I don't like to spend a lot of money. And so I've reduced my personal overhead expenses are just over 10% of what I make on a monthly basis. So I don't spend very much money.
No, you don't, clearly.
But here's the thing though, is that allows me to invest so much more, and I'm able to take leaps and bounds in the investing journey. And if my income goes down, I'm not in this situation where a lot of people, like including some of my friends in the real estate space, they overspend. They're out buying, multi-million-dollar homes. They're buying multiple cars. I go on a lot of trips. So that doesn't include into my 10%. The trips are outside of that. My 10% is my fixed cost, expenses to live. But, people that are just living these extravagant lifestyles, and I think you had talked about something Grant Cardone said, which is, having your passive income pay for those things is okay. But if you're bringing in all this active income and then you're just spending it all on liabilities, I mean, you're not necessarily setting yourself up for success. And I think some people that have been making, I guess, easy money in real estate the last couple of years are going to get smacked when things start to change.
Oh, I guarantee you, we both know there's gonna be some of our network that we know pretty well. They're gonna get smashed because they're not going to adjust their spending. They're going to think they've figured it out, and the market's going to get them. What I would tell folks is this is always true, but it is only obvious in a recession or bear market. For whatever reason, in real estate or in stocks, we like to talk about net worth. A lot of us will talk to our friends about how much we make, income. I want to tell you first, right here, right now, that those two numbers mean almost nothing. Almost nothing. It is all about cash flow. We are going to see lots of zombie companies who were valued in the last 2 years on cocaine and Red Bull that were valued at 100 times revenue, but losing lots of money every quarter. They're going to go to zero. We're going to see, to your earlier example, people that don't control their expenses, who don't change into a slowing market, their cash flow is going to make them go bankrupt. I have been doing this for 20 some odd years. I saw people worth like legit 10 million bucks go bankrupt in under a year because they didn't let one house go for a small loss, and it all fell apart. There are going to be less wholesalers. There are wholesalers out there making six figures last year that won't do that this year. They won't change their overhead. Poof, gone. There are people out there running syndications who have great reputations that are getting LPs into horrible deals that are going to ruin their reputations because they're not going to pay proceeds. And at the time of the bridge debt resets, they're going to go bust. There's going to be a lot of people who thought they were better than Warren Buffett, who had egos, that are going to get smashed. Cash flow, discretionary income. Having 10% your fixed expenses means you can adjust. You don't have to go on trips. You can if the money pays them. So smart. I hope people are listening. What do you got next?
Yeah. And I think the thing is with that too, is because like saying that some people are like, I'm spending everything. And I think to, points you've made, it's like, you don't start there. You start, it's like if you're spending 100% of what you make every month, get it to like 95%.
Exactly.
90%, 85. Like, it's like slowly work your way down, and it's like, I think people get caught up in their egos of the way that they need to look, whether it's the way they dress, whether it's the, where they live, whether it's what they drive, the lifestyle that they portray. And I'm 28, but when I was young, went through a period where I made great money from like 18 to 21, and then had to restart and move back with my parents and sell cars that I had, and just lived in more of I literally spent everything that I made. And so I've had that experience of like making it and then losing it. And there's nothing worse than having and then not having. It's better to not have it all, because then you don't even know what it's like, but it's worse to have and then have to go backwards. So I'm like, I never want to do that again.
Yeah. Amen to that. We'll probably talk about this a little bit in video 3, but it's important. And I keep just reiterating it for when the market changes. Obviously I'm a real estate guy, but stock markets, crypto, it could be anything. When the market changes, you need to change, right? That's how people survive and thrive. And one of the things that I have to do, and that's why I'll be coming to Cody and Pace and the folks and Ty and all these other folks, is I need to learn new skills, right? I believe we're going to go into an environment where pre-foreclosures and subject to and all these other investing things, which I have known about, haven't been top of mind because it just didn't work for my deal flow. But I think what's coming in the next couple of years, it will. So I have to skill up. I have to change. I have to do seller financing. I want to do 2 or 3 deals this year. That's all I want. I think there's ways for me to be better. So I know I need to change. I know I need to skill up. So I think that's
really like that point, Michael, just like the skilling up, because I think a lot of people, they get lazy or they get complacent and like just kind of doing the same thing. And it's hard to have to go learn new skills. And, some of the things that I'm doing is, one, learning new skills is one of those, reading books, getting new mentors, joining different groups and masterminds, and, paying for those things so I could skill up, here. But then, skilling up, and I'm taking better care of my health. I'm working out more frequently. I got a personal, it's like going into a winter, a recession, like I think some of the best things you can do, or the things that can't be taken away from you, like your mental health, when the world is going to be shouting negative things and, negativity on YouTube and the media, you have to be mentally strong to be able to go through those things. And part of that is getting the skills to actually do the things you need to do to be successful, and then taking care of yourself so that you feel good and confident to be able to do that as well.
Oh, yeah, amen. One of the biggest mindset hacks I have for everyone, I shared earlier, and I'll probably show 100 more times because it's that important and people don't hear it unless I repeat it, is every negative article I see about real estate for the next 2 years, I will take that article and immediately translate it. 2% of my competition went away.
Mm-hmm.
So every negative, bring them on, folks. More the merrier, because it's going to get cold. The winter is here. It's going to be a nasty winter because we've been delaying it for 14 years. But I will just intuitively turn all of those into positive. I'll just say, oh, there goes 2% of my competition. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. And you've got to take care of your physical health. One of the things that often people let go, because, I have more than 20 years on you, is that, right? They get so locked in that the body goes. And trust me, getting the body right when you're 50 is a lot harder than when you're 28. So I applaud that activity, because it's sometimes when you're 28, you're like, I'll get to that later. And yeah, don't do that. So the last thing I'll say on this, as we kind of close out the ping pong, is I don't know how you're going to hear this. Recessions come and go all the time. Good times never last. Bad times never last. If this is your first winter, bad news, you're going to have more, right? You're 28. By the time you're my age, you'll probably have had 2, maybe 3 of these. By the time you're my parents' age, it might be 4 or 5. They happen. They are a natural part of the business cycle. They cannot, and frankly should not, be prevented. We need to have bad capital allocators punished. The last 2 years have been fueled by cocaine and Red Bull, and that's not okay. There's a hangover for that. So we have to pay for that. So Cody, if you have one more to say or closing, please share it. Otherwise, let's wrap it up with how people can find you.
Awesome. Yeah. So I would just say, just recapping, making sure that you're skilling up, you're taking care of yourself, you're not putting your head in the sand to the things that are coming, and that preparation is what's going to allow you to take advantage of the changes in the marketplace coming up here soon and already actively changing now. You could find me on my YouTube channel. I come out with 3 videos a week on different skills, regarding to real estate, finance, operational, support within your business. So find me on YouTube, find me on Instagram, Cody Barton Official.
There you go. Thanks, buddy.